power diagram. So we're here in Moodle. Look at our board first. So if you've just looked at the control one, you'll see that what we're doing is we're going to bring these two contactors in. I suggest you make this one here. Your delta one. You can see it labelled there. And you make this one here your star one. Just makes it a little bit easier for the wiring. Doesn't matter too if you get it around the other way, but generally people have their main contactor. There's their main one, the delta, and there's the star. And there's our timer. So in our control circuit, we're going to be using two contacts on that. We're going to be using our normally open and our normally closed. Okay, so our normally closed is going to drive our star contactor, and our normally open would drive our delta contactor. And we've got our motor, which is set up differently now because we've got both sets of windings so that we can configure these into the bottom of these two contactors. Okay, let's have a look at the drawing. Sorry, I'll go back to here. And here's the power diagram right here. Okay, this one here is a little bit more complex. I've tried to add a bit of colour here, especially around the windings. We've got a purple winding, a yellow winding, and a blue winding. Okay, so these are U1, U2, V1, V2, W1, W2. They never go straight across, and we're going to be putting the bars. So let's start at the top. Here's our feed in. There's our circuit breakers, which are already pre-wired on the board, into our 3-pole isolator, and into our main contactor, delta contactor, star contactor. Main contactor, delta, star. Okay, so we go through our main contactor, straight down to the motor. So that when our main contactor comes in, one end of the motor becomes live, one end of the windings, and we use our delta and our star contactors to change the configuration of these 3 points here. When we first turn it on, our main contactor and our star contactor comes in. So let's look at that one first. You can see that that one is the easiest one to see. Okay, so let's just follow one of them through. So here's our, get rid of that. Here's our main contactors come in. So this one here is live, and at the same time our star contactor comes in. Our timer is timing away, it's clicking down, and it's waiting to turn our delta contactor on. When it turns our delta contactor on, it'll turn that off, turn that on. But let's just look at our first connection, which is our star. So it goes through one of the windings, comes up, our delta's open, it goes up here, goes to the end. So look at another winding, goes to there, and our third winding. And what does our star do? It puts a short across the ends of the windings. So it effectively does this one here, puts a short, okay? So there's our link, there's our star connection. So we've got our star point here, so we get 230 volts across the windings. So it starts at 1/3 the power, so therefore 1/3 the current. Okay, let's look at what happens after a while. The timer clicks in, and we no longer have our star connection, has disappeared, and now it's all about the delta connections coming. So let's put that in there. There's our delta connection now. Okay, so let's follow one through now. It gets a little bit trickier because it comes back up and feeds onto its top, and these points here are quite critical. And I've done a drawing up here which shows you the connection, W1, W2, so the ends of the windings go to the 2s, go to the 1s, goes to the 2, goes to the 1, goes to the 2, goes to the 1. So we bring our 3 windings together in a loop, in this delta loop. So let's follow one through. So we come down here, U1 through out U2, comes up, there we go, comes down here through W1, through W2, comes up, comes along, goes across here, still going, still one loop, V1, V2, up, and there we go, it finishes. So these three loops make one continuous loop, which is this loop here. That's that path we just went around, okay? So it's quite a little complex bit of wiring, especially when we look at it like this around these contacts, but we're just building this circuit here, okay? What I suggest you do, I know when we work on our control diagrams, I suggest you write the numbers in. I suggest you do it here as well, or keep a really good eye on this when you're wiring your control board, because you've got to make sure we have these links just right, otherwise it doesn't run in delta. When we hook up a star delta starter in real life, it's quite common for it to not work. It'll work in star, switches to delta, and nothing happens. So quite common we get these wrongs, and we just got to get our meter out, find those windings, and reconfigure this delta loop. Okay, so that's star delta. What do you need to do? You need to submit 2 drawings, one from our control layer, put it in the Dropbox, and one for our power layer, put it in the Dropbox. And that is me done.